I looked on that board and saw all the names of the drivers who have driven here. I was like, wait a second, those are legends. What am I doing here?
They sell groceries for a living. They don't race for a living. They race because Charlie races and his family, Don and everybody else, they stay involved in this because they like it, they like the competition.
Any win is just unreal. There's nothing like winning. It just, that's why I keep doing that win makes it all possible to keep going to the next one.
What got you into cars? Because obviously you're not just a racer, you're a car person. We're sitting in here with all these beautiful T-birds everywhere. What got you into cars?
When I was a senior in high school, the 54 T-birds come out, little T-birds, and my mouth watered. I said, boy, I'd love to have one of them, because I couldn't afford one. I said, one day they're going to get me one of them. So in 1961, I got a military, and I saved me a little bit of money up, and I bought my first T-bird, a 55 T-bird, for $500. And I worked on it myself at home at night and rebuilt it and all that stuff. And from there, I just kept collecting. I bought them back when they were cheap, you know, and restored them. And it ended up getting one of every car for 3 years they made them in. Back in the 70s sometime, somebody asked me to go to race with them down at Kingsport, and I said, well, okay, I went. So I went one night. It's a late model race, and I enjoyed it. And I got stuck that night, and I said, well, I'm gonna see if I can get you to be a part of this. So, and then within the next year, I got me a car, and from there we went racing when we could.
So, how do you make the transition from, you know, racing at Kingsport, being a late model guy, to okay, now I'm gonna go NASCAR racing?
Yeah.
How do you make that step?
Well, I didn't see a whole lot different in late model and NASCAR, to tell you the truth. It sets a lot more rules, regulations, but as far as the basics, it's about the same, you know. So I decided to race NASCAR, more money, more everything.
When I was a kid and they would drag me to racetracks, I hated it. I remember going over to North Wilkesboro one day. I was probably 6 or 7. The roads were really windy. I remember we get there, so queasy. I didn't want to be there anyway. So lots of memories of being drugged to the track. But then I started to enjoy it.
I was probably about 15 years old. This was 1975, right in there. And a good friend of mine, Larry Utzman, who was a local race driver on the local racing scene at that time and forward on years after that, drove for Charlie in a car that Charlie owned. That was a NASCAR late model sportsman car that ran at Kingsport Speedway in the mid-70s. If I'm not mistaken, that car was a Petty Dodge kit car. Actually, Larry won the first race that one of Charlie's cars had ever won at Kingsport in March of 1979, if I'm not correct, at Kingsport.
Tell me, how did you meet Charlie Henderson?
Well, we were neighbors. Our race shop was next door to Charlie. But let me tell you something, Charlie's been a great institution in our town, in Abingdon. And he's raced when it cost him money, I'm sure, but it kind of gets in your blood. He's been bitten by the snake that we all get bitten by.
When you met Charlie and the folks here, what was your initial impression of this place?
You know, I could see the history because they've got some of the old cars back there, you know, and then also a little bit of like, so we're gonna do this out of Abington, Virginia. How's this gonna work? All the race teams, as you know, are down in Charlotte and they're all around each other and everything. But I trusted Chris at the time, and then as I got to know Charlie and Don, and saw their passion for racing and how much they love this and want to be successful and push all of us to find ways to be better than the last time we went to the track together, you know, that's something for a race car driver that's infectious.
He is the second longest active team owner in NASCAR behind the Wood brothers. To think about that, and that's
nuts, isn't it?
And
to be able to sustain this for that long, what does it say about him, about this family, about this organization?
I'm not sure they shouldn't build a separate Hall of Fame just for the whole family and what all he's done in stock car racing, and now 50, you can say probably 50 years and going on 51. The fact that he and his family and this race team has sustained this long and is still in the top 3 series, being pretty competitive for what we do, and I think there's a lot to say for that, and yeah, I think there ought to be a little bit more notoriety and appreciation from it.
It's pretty impressive, and I'm pretty proud of him, because a lot of people would have probably given up. We've had a lot of tough times, didn't know if we were going to be able to race the next season, and he kept digging, he never gave up. I think that's the key with this team. We kept going and just never threw in the towel. This
isn't how they make their living. This isn't probably the smartest financial endeavor that you can enter into in terms of motorsports, but Charlie, Don, all the Food Country USA employees, they make this happen. And it really stems from a passion for racing and a passion to go try and win.
There's no feeling like winning. And because you got to be competitive to start with, then that win, it's just a great feeling. It's that like you've accomplished something when you do win.